you have to eat this much and so small. There is no room to sleep. But I was right. That night was really fun. We went back to Brazil. I would not mind the price of London if it was well. It was not. You go in the shop and I get this store. No, I don't know. People eat no cheaper and working behind the counter. You call me old fashioned, I just don't think the phrase, how can I help you? Should be returned.